Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks so much for popping in today. As always, lovely to spend time with you. And today we're going to be looking at some new sticker stencils. And I thought we'd create something along the lines of this. And look, can you see the shimmer on that water? And we're going to use a combination of some of our new stamps and the new sticker stencils. So these were released on Friday. So I'm hoping you've seen the design team have been sharing some fabulous samples with you. So I hope you've caught those on social media. I'm also going to be using a couple of our, I was going to say older stamps, but well, yeah, older stamps, just because it's nice to mix and match what we've got and let you into a little bit the way my head works. You know what that's like, funny old place. So I'm just going to pop this to the side for the minute. And we've got two new sets of sticker stencils. And the first set has got 4 square sticker stencils. And these, let me just put these out of the way. Now, there'll be a bit of a glare from my light, so I'm very sorry. But we've got different shapes of these gorgeous vases and urns. I mean, they could be pots. I mean, again, your mind will just bottles. Seriously, your mind will go minded. I was thinking of all the things I could do. And then the next set has got 2 larger vases, bottles. And as I say, there will be a shine from my light, so all I can do is apologise. So today and tomorrow I'm going to be showing you various ways of using them. So we'll be using a couple of these tomorrow, the smaller ones. So I'm going to file them over there. And for this design here, which I'll bring in again, as you can see, we've used the larger one. And I have to say, the first thing I thought of was obviously making a scene in the bottle. And I just could not stop creating with them. I really couldn't. Now, at home, we have 2 fish. We have a fish tank with 2 fish, which belong to the grandchildren, because Adam and Danielle came round one day and said, oh, the boys would like to have some fish. And we said, oh, that's great, but can we keep them at grandma's? So we sort of went, okay. So off we went and we bought a tank and we set it up and we listened to the man at the shop and it settled for a week. And then we went back and bought these 2 little goldfish. The boys chose the names, so they're called Spider-Man and Batman. And my goodness, they have grown. And it's my job, obviously, to clean them out, to feed them. The boys like to come and look at them when they visit. But and that just gave me the idea of fish. And in our fish tank, we have got some various bridges. Every time we go to the shop, the boys want to buy something different. We have actually got a Spider-Man in there. I mean, it's the things you can buy if you keep fish. I mean, these are just cold water fish. And I did not believe they could grow so big. Anyway, so I thought of my lovely stamp of the bridge. So, and that's what I thought I'd just almost make myself a little fish tank in my bottle. So if you want to join me, this is the sort of thing I'm going to do today. And I'm going to be using a piece of multifarious card, and this is the A5. So again, there's 20 in this pack. Now, a couple of things to let you know about the sticker stencils. When they get manufactured, it's quite hard getting just, oh, we got 2 pieces there, we only need 1. Well, I hope we do. It's quite hard getting just the right amount of tacky, of stickiness with them. So my suggestion is, when you first use them, or actually as soon as I get them, what I do is take off. So I'm going to take the innie for this, and I literally de-tack it. So I put it on my jeans, which you can't see because they're under my desk, and I just give it a bit of a pat. And that just means it's not quite as tacky as it was, because obviously it's hard for the manufacturer getting just the right amount. You know, if they weren't sticky, we wouldn't like it. So that's what I do. And then I just pop it back on here. Also, I do find with using the multifarious card, for me, that's the best surface. So I've already used this one, obviously on my sample, and I did de-tack it, but I've got to be honest, my craft room, it soon picks up some fluff and some, Eric hair and dust and various things, glitter. Now, if after using them, I've found they last me literally 20 odd times. I mean, I've done shows where I've demonstrated with them all day, and then I've gone to a shop and demonstrated all day, gone to Lavinia, demonstrated. So they do last a long time. But if as I say, mine get glitter and all sorts on. If they lose that tack, the best thing to do is wash them, warm soapy water, but don't scrub at them because you don't want to scrub that glue off. Just literally I just let them soak for a couple of minutes in that warm soaky water, and I find that's enough that then I just rinse them under the cold tap, let it dry, sticky side up, and it will come back sticky. That's enough just to get rid of all that sort of dust and debris and glitter. But like I say, don't scrub at them, otherwise the glue will come off. So that's my little tip for you. Now also, the shape here has no neck on the bottle. So what I do, and I'm just going to show you, the masket sheets, look, I keep every single little bit. And I just want to make myself a little bit of a mask for this. So I'm just going to put that on my masket sheet there. Grab my fine liner and just draw around that shape of the bottle. And as we go through the demonstration, you'll see why I like to make myself this just tiny little mask. Now again, this might not be something you want to do. So I'm very quickly, and I'm doing this on the white side, almost the tissue side of the masket sheet. And very quickly I'm going to cut it out. And we'll pop that over there. I'm going to use that later. You watch, remember where I've put it because I will forget. Now I want to pop this on here, but I want to have enough room that I'm going to stamp my cork in the bottle. So I'm thinking possibly there. A bit good press. Oh, look at that. See, we have got an Eric hair. Please don't judge me. Right, now I'm going to use blue to start off with. Now, I have mentioned before, with my ink pads, when one starts to get a little bit dry, it starts to run out, I buy another one and I write on the back which is the new one and the date. Because there are times when I need almost a paler ink pad. And for me, this is why I like having an older ink pad. And I'm going to come in with my number 7 brush. And I know that when I look, I just want a pale colour all the way around my sticker stencil. And the difference between my new ink pad and my old one is amazing. But as I say, for me, I love to keep almost a well-used ink pad because I know it's going to be nice and pale. And I'm just going to go all the way around just to give a general aura with the blue atoll. And I just want it deeper on this side and deeper on the base. And I'm not even going on the lid, I'm coming straight from the ink pad because, as I say, it's such a well-used ink pad and it'll probably be that pale that you won't be able to see it. I don't know if you can just pick up. So then what I'm going to do is come in to my newer ink pad and also go down the size of a brush because I find that gives me a more concentrated colour. But you'll see if I just start at the base here, look, just drag a little bit of colour in. Look at that. What a difference, that colour. So I'm just going to go all the way around the edge. And I'm going to have my darker colour, my shade. I know it's going to be deeper at the base and also on the right. So that's where I'm starting off. So when I've got most ink on my brush, look, I'll start off on the right where I want the deeper colour. And then as I've got less on, I'm just going to come round and drag a little bit in on the left. if you've got a very juicy ink pad, always make sure you get plenty of colour on your sticker stencil. Now when it comes to the top look, I'm going to come all the way around. It'll really cement my outline. I will be showing you, you can draw around them to give you a good outline, but I want to just use the ink today. But I want to make this look like we've got this neck here. And watch, it's amazing this. Just get yourself a piece of copy of paper. And I'm just going to put it where the neck of that bottle is. Again, I'm starting on the right because I want the right deeper. And I'm just going to, like we do with our landscape masks, just going to add, can you see a little bit of colour there? And just down the neck here. And when you see how that will add to the shape. And I love this, that we're just using our sticker stencil, some ink, and already we're building up that shape. Just going to add a little bit more here. So happy with that, but I want it a wee bit stronger. So I'm going to come in now with dark denim. My little brush again, my number 3. And this, each time I'm using a darker colour, I'm almost coming further out. I'm adding less colour. So my pale blue came in to say 1/3 of the way. And then my deeper blue has come in sort of half that distance. And this, the dark denim, I'm literally just going to catch the edge. And again at the base, little bit just up this side. And then around this side. And again, it'll just, when we take the sticker stencil off especially, you'll see how it really will. And I'm just catching, just coming along this edge. And then I'm just going to come up here and then just to here. So again, can you see, I'm hoping you can see that that just really helps create that lovely edge. So what we'll do now, we can add some stamping. And I'm going to come in first of all with my lovely, and this is the fairy bridge. Now again, if you're not sure how something's going to look, use your acetate. Always such a good idea. So I'm going to ink it up, and I'm using black today, just the Nocturne. But I don't actually want this bit of the fairy bridge to be very dark. So what I'm going to do, just with my inky binky look, sorry, I was doing it off camera. That's very remiss of me, very naughty, sorry. I'm just going to wipe off just the bit down here that I don't want. And then we can put the bridge sort of there. Now we've got the castle as well, haven't we? I notice a lot of fish tanks have castles in, so that would be something else you could stamp, and you can create yourself. And this is ideal. We often want cards for men. So if your friend has tropical fish, if he keeps fish, again, this is a fabulous card. Now I'm going to add my fish, and this one is just from the fish set. So there's 2 fish on the fish set, but I've just gone for this one. We've got our little pound fish as well. I mean, again, honestly, my mind was just going through. We've got so many stamps that are so good for this. And I'm thinking I'm going to put him there. Once you start creating, again, you'll be thinking, oh, I can use this, I can use this. Just going to give him a wipe, because on the forest moss set, we've got these lovely boulders. And I'm thinking, so here, again, it doesn't matter, there's a slight little bit to see. Obviously, I didn't wipe it off perfectly, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to stamp my lovely boulders at the front. and I want these. So again, at the front of the fish tank for the boys, we've got all that sort of schiller and things that you have. So let's just have some. I'll have one there. And remember, if you go onto your sticker stencil, that's fine. Don't worry about that. Just going to bring one on, but give it a bit of a sort of harder press because you've got that little ledge where your sticker stencil is. And I don't want this to be too uniform, so I'm thinking if I come in with 2 there, again, give it a bit of a wiggle just to get this edge. I didn't want it to look, you know, symmetrical, so I'm happy with that. So again, and honestly, you'll have so much fun. If you're having trouble with Mr. Mojo, and I know some of you are, you know, this is a great thing to do because you can just get all those stamps out. You can make a fairy garden. I mean, again, you could just have it. Oh, now see, I'm going to say a word and I don't know if it's right. Is it called something like terrarium? I should have looked it up, shouldn't I? But again, you know, where you have plants in the bottles, you could create yourself a lovely plant area in the bottles. So on the forest moss, there's this other stamp. And I just thought this would be lovely to add as a little bit of foliage just coming through. Now, again, we've got our lovely underwater florals and our plants. You could add those. So let's add one here, growing this way. Honestly, it's just such fun. And once you start thinking about what you can use, now I'm thinking I might just add one here. And I'm going to stop there. Because what I can do with my black fine liner pen is just add some little dots and a little bit of just something there. Now I do want just a few little bubbles coming from our lovely fish's mouth. Now we have a stamp called the Sea Bubbles. Now Tracy, please don't watch this because I've got to be honest, I've cut mine into 3. It's a lovely stamp, but I love this little end to it. And I use this so much. I mean, I can put it together if I want it to actually be whole. But I just love, and I love this shape I've got that for those bubbles, look. And it just works well for me. So all I'm going to do is just pop this here. And then I'm just going to add another here. And I think we'll leave it there because we've got the cork to come in here, haven't we? So, and yes, that was the doorbell. I'm going to ignore it. So the postman won't be very happy with me. But I don't want to leave you. So now I'm just going to give that a bit of a blot because obviously we're dealing with permanent ink and it's slow drying. And I don't want it to smudge. Look, you see some of that ink, especially on the sticker stencil, it stays wet longer. Now what I can do is I can peel that off now. And look, as I say, because I detacked it, how easily that comes off. But I just want to show you, because I've got quite a few things to show you today. Just because we get so many questions, it's nice to try and answer as many as I can. When I've got ink on my sticker stencil, I pop it on my Lavinia mat, look. And I just take a wet cloth and give it a wipe. Now, our VersaFine Claire's a permanent ink, look, but because it hasn't dried on there, it just wipes off. And that's just a damp cloth. And then my Inky Binky to dry it. And then my suggestion is pop it back on here. And if you pop it back on here straight away, you've got less chance of getting all those stray bits of glitter and things on it. And it will stick back on there, look, beautiful. I'm going to file that over there. So what I'm going to do on here now is I just want to ground it a little. So I'm going to come in with my mini hill masks. And I just want the flatter one. I'm just going to use my brush, and it's probably got enough colour on here. And I'm just going to add a little bit at the side of the mask and then under the bottle, and just sort of fade that out. And then let's have a look. And that just gives us, add a bit more there, I just want that a bit deeper. Just grounded that nicely. And again, we used the ink that was on. I'll give that a wipe. Again, keep it nice and clean. Now, when it comes to the cork, again, there's various ways of doing this. You know me, I just come in and share my hints and tips with you. So remember that little mask that we made. And I'm just going to, you have to now take the plastic off the back. So I tend to find if I use my scissors and just catch it, look, and then I can put that little bit of plastic in the bin. And I'm just going to mask that now, she says. There we go. And then I need a lovely cork. And I'm going to ink this up in the black, in the Nocturne. Although it does look nice in brown, I have stamped it a few times in the pine cone. And this is where I need to get my best head on. And I want to get it sort of in the middle-ish. And I'm going to go for there. And this does take practice, I must admit. If it was me, I would practice almost drawing round the stencil, the sticker stencil, and having a go at stamping a few on copy paper. But that's not too bad, look. It's pretty much in the middle. And what happens when I take that off, look, then it looks like my cork is in the jar, and that's the little lip on the jar. And what I've been doing with these is I've been on my piece of acetate where I've got my cork stamps. I put all my little, because I save them, and we can reuse those. So that's my little tip for making the little neck of the jar. So what we can do now is add some colour. And again, you know me, I've got my watercolour pencils, and I'm just going to almost do a little bit of sort of cheats colouring. So I want a yellow, and I'm going to go for a brown and a grey. And all I'm going to do, I just want to lean on this. So for the cork, just want to add a little bit of yellow. And I know the brown, but I just think a yellow sort of gives it a nice tone. And then add some brown, and you know me, colouring, it is what it is. And then we'll add a little bit of this grey just round the edge, just to give it a bit more, and just under there, look, where we'll have some shade. Just come in and add a little bit more brown. There we go, that's all I need to do to that. So the same with the bridge, I'm just going to add a little bit of yellow. And on these boulders, just a sort of bit of brightness in the middle, sort of it almost highlights it really. And then, now you can, you know, if you want to spend the afternoon adding some lovely colour to this, it would be a lovely project to just sit and colour. You know me, I'm almost doing a bit of a cheats colouring. And a little bit of brown over here. And then I'm just going to come in with the grey. And this is just going to add a bit more shade, just a little bit more depth, sort of under there where we've got shade. And again on your lovely boulders, look. But you can spend as long or as little. And what I'm actually going to do is just come in with that brush that we had, the blue, and just take that starkness off, look. And in fact, with the darker one, I can come in and just darken. I've not added any more ink, look, and I'm just almost filling in a little bit of space round here. Yes, that's nice, I like that. So last little thing with my pencils, I just want the green, and I'm just going to add a little bit of green onto my fish, and you'll see why. It'll all come together. And I think I'm done with those. What I do want is my micron pen, just to add a couple more dots onto my bubbles, just to make them look a little bit more 3D. Right, happy with that. And the next thing, my Wink of Stella pen to do some of that wink of colouring. So again, you could use a water brush if you wanted, but I'm thinking the fact that this is going to be our lovely water, the Wink of Stella will add that lovely sparkle. So if we come in on the bridge and start with the yellow, look. So at the minute we haven't got any algae growing on this. Certainly in my little, or the boys' little fish tank, we seem to have a lot of the algae growing around. So I'm just going to add, and again this will just blend those colours, which is why I didn't spend too long, because it just gives me such a lovely effect. Look, those colours blend beautifully as it is. And then for the fish, I'm going to come in with, we've got these beautiful metallic markers. So they're the Signo ones, the Uniball. And I must admit, every time I put an order in or visit the shop, I buy a different colour. And then when I come to do a project like this, it's lovely because I've got them. But again, we've got so many different, you could use your Posca pens. But I love this fish. There's the two, and I don't know why this one's my favourite with the little dots. But we don't say that when the other one's listening, because it might get upset. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit more highlight onto those green areas where I added my pencils. And then we've got that lovely, I'm just going to add a little bit of shimmer on these as well, with the lovely, lovely green. And then with the blue, just going to add a couple of little, and again, we've got glossy accents if you want to add glossy accents. And you can just, I mean, like I say, have so much fun adding. I mean, look already how that. So a couple more little finishing tricks with my, where have we gone? My pastel pencils. I'm just going to add a little bit more shade under the bottle, and just at the base, if you want there, you can add a little bit more depth, and either with your finger or that's just a biodegradable cotton bud. Just wanted a bit more depth there. And then with my white Posca, just going to add a little bit in those bubbles. And then just a little sort of highlight on the top, just on the side, just on this side, and we'll maybe have a couple, just a little bit on the bridge. And then finally, a little bit more of the Wink of Stella just around the fish, so it really sparkles and it looks like that water is just dripping off him. And around that bridge. I just think it adds to that whole watery feel. And there we go. I've got my gorgeous fish in his bottle and he's swimming round. I just need to take the cork out and give him a bit of food because I think it must be time to feed him. So I'm going to create myself a bit of space because, as always, I've used so many different products, look, and they literally fill my space. Now, on my finished one, I added one of our lovely sticker sentiments from set 6, and that was By the Sea. I thought that went quite well because, obviously, with the fish. So I'm really hoping you enjoyed that, and I'm hoping it gives you some idea of what to do with our lovely new sticker stencils. Like I say, we have got so many stamps that are going to work just so well with these sticker stencils. And remember, when the Wink of Stella dries, you get even more of that lovely shimmer for your underwater. So I'm going to pop back tomorrow with some ideas for using the other set. And I can't wait, honestly. And I know you're going to love these, and I can't wait to see what you do because you're such a clever lot. Anyway, have a lovely evening, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.